Live from the Northeast Comedy Cabaret, it's the Back to the Humor Show with your host, Logan.
Welcome back to the Humor. My name's Logan. This is your co-host Rick Robotin and our guest Bob DeSantis.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Bob, how you doing?
Excellent. How are you guys?
So you helped put together the third Get Offended show over the weekend, and the subsequent ones as well.
The first and the second, yeah. Myself and Evan Mars originally put the show together. The idea behind the show was a friend of ours, Dave Primiano, a very funny comedian. He was in a competition where he absolutely killed the show. And there were 3 judges, 2 of them loved him. And one of the judges said, you know what, you were just a little bit too much for me, is what he said. It was a little bit too offensive. He had a joke about porn or something that the guy didn't like. And after the show, we were like, man, wouldn't it be great if there was a contest where people could just do any joke they want? And that's what the Get Offended show was.
So there's little Get Offended shows, and then there's the big final competition at the end. When's that going to be?
We're still trying to plan it out. We're trying to find a new venue for it. Because Connie's has been difficult with us. But, we're looking at November, December. Hopefully we can do it at International Comedy Club. So that's coming. And hopefully everyone's available. We had yourself, we had Aaron Mulville, and we had Lichtenstein from this show, who were all great. From the first show, we had Mike Rainey, we had Brendan Kennedy, who won the show, we had Sean Quinn, and from the last show, we had that Greg Lynn, sick son of a bitch, just very, very, very sick man.
Terrible human being.
Just awful. That man got married on 666. Yeah. Just to get married on 666. Long story short, it's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Evan also puts together little mini Get Offended shows. He runs that. And, they're all hilarious. They're all hysterical, and it's a lot of just jokes you wouldn't hear anywhere else.
So how long have you been a comedian?
I have been doing comedy for about a year at this point. I started doing comedy because I got fired from a job. Apparently, big corporate Fortune 500 companies don't like it when you go on Twitter and say bad things about the company. For instance, like, my boss is a cunt is a no-no. That's a direct quote. And apparently they have people in their HR department who do nothing but search the name of that company on Twitter and Facebook to see what comes up. So they fired me, even though I made them $250,000 that year. They fired me. Yeah.
That's as good a reason as any, I would say.
Well, yeah, and when they told me they found it, I updated my resume that second. I was like, all right, yeah, so
cool.
It took them a week to fire me, but I mean, I knew it.
How much stuff did you steal from them when you knew you were leaving? Staplers, paper clips?
Well, unfortunately, the way they did it was they fired me on a Monday morning. So once I got past the previous Friday, I didn't think I was fired. And then they fired me on the Monday morning and didn't let me go back to my desk. So I didn't get the opportunity to steal stuff, because I had some nice pens. Just gorgeous.
Oh, a collection of stainless steel space pens.
The ones with the grips,
As long as I can have the pens. I think this is fair.
Yeah.
It all works out.
$250,000, handful of nice pens.
I deserve that. I did, but I didn't get that. I had to go back like a couple days later, and they just had a box with my stuff in it.
Damn.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, but after that, I just got so bored with being drunk by noon every day. I was like, I need a hobby. I took a class over at Helium, and it's just it's something. It's like this wet dream I've always had of doing it, and I finally got up and I did it, and it was everything I thought it was going to be. So I kept doing it for better or worse.
As wonderful and terrible as you thought
exactly.
it was going to be.
I've slowly started to lose my mind since then, and I'll tell you an example of that. For some odd reason, someone gave me a new job, and I was at Wawa getting a morning coffee, and the manager at this Wawa is talking to a customer, and he says to him, he's telling him how he has a DVD player installed in his dashboard, and he says, and I watch movies in it when I'm driving around, because people have GPSs, and I don't see a difference, okay, and I started to lose it. But then I heard someone screaming at me and saying, what are you talking about? It's the same thing. And GPS is a picture of the road You're not trying to figure out the plot points to Inception, you asshole. And when I turned around to see who it was, everyone was looking at me, and I realized, oh my god, I said that. Those words came out of my mouth before my brain thought them. So I blame comedy. I'm literally starting to go nuts. So this is like the most sane you'll ever see me, because in a year I am jumping.
It's a continuous.
I'm just
gradual down.
I hope I become famous before I jump.
You never know. Killing yourself might make you famous.
Maybe, but I need to at least be on TV once, so people are like, oh, I remember him.
Well, you're on internet TV. Does that count?
Well, I mean, but I've done porn, so it's not really.
What? You did porn? Oh, see, that would have been so good.
No.
Well,
my name wasn't Razor Coxton. That's not true at all. Don't Google that.
Well, Bob, thanks for coming out. Great interview.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll do other stuff later. And Bob and Rick.